So anyway, as I was saying before I rudely interrupted myself, there is apparently, obviously don't know because I live in the States, but like people aren't having babies in Japan. Like apparently work is just a big, like you just work yourself to the death, and people don't have time for kids and love. And we're gonna learn more about that. Hopefully, I actually don't know what this is about, but I saw the title and I thought this was interesting. I hate cats, by the way. Man, Japan. I'm sorry, I 8 seconds in. Japan is someplace I want to visit so bad. It looks so beautiful there, man.
I've been the ABC's Tokyo correspondent for 4 years, and I have to admit, I've really fallen for Japan. It's
I don't blame him.
endlessly exciting and one of the most vibrant places on Earth. But there's something
Jujutsu
deeply
Kaisen.
troubling going on. Why is it that in this economic powerhouse, millions of people are hiding from the world?
自分が社会に合わない、自分が悪いとか、自分自身が劣っていると思ってたので、
Tens of thousands of people are dying alone and neglected.
うわすごい状態ですね。
Birth numbers are plummeting and people are staying single.
装飾というわけではなく人とのそもそも人との関わりをあまり持とうとしないみたいな。
As I finish my posting and pack up to leave Japan, this is one story I haven't yet told, and it is a difficult one to tell.
This is a rich and powerful country, but it's facing a social crisis. Before I go, I want to understand why.
Nearly every day from World War II on, an army of men thronged to work. Men sacrificed their lives for the firm and the family. And women stayed home to mind the children. But the economic miracle it built was shattered in the 1990s. Things changed. Women could work, and work became more insecure and competitive. The old rules don't suit the modern world, but new rules aren't replacing them. It's a paradox causing deep social anxiety.
Interesting.
あ、すいません。
Oh, look how cute.
Sayaka Kinjo has a successful career in the fashion industry, and she has no intention of following society's old rules by getting married and having children.
Good for her.
Instead, she spoils her much-loved dogs.
もう生活の中心になってますね。
That's honestly like that's kind of where my life is heading. So, hopefully we can turn that shit around real quick, boys.
するのもお出かけするのも全部犬のためですね。
By 2040, Japan is on track for almost half its population to be single.
That's insane.
This is Unimaru with her new haircut, and this is Rikomaru. Sayaka's friend Rika is also choosing a single life. Her dogs are Candy and Vanilla.
Man, I wish I could dress up my dog like that. I would have some swag for him, but he does not appreciate the finer things known as human clothing.
Do you want to get married one day?
特にないです。男性がいないとできないことが今のところないので。
Do you feel
I mean, when you put it like that, like why would you get married, you know?
any pressure to get married?
プレッシャーはかけられてるけど自分は気にしてないです。
Figures from the last fertility survey showed a quarter of women in their 30s were single, and half of them weren't interested in relationships.
Oh, poor dog. Probably stress.
I've read a study that says younger Japanese people are not necessarily having sex. Is that true?
そんなこともない。
装飾というわけでもなく人とのそもそも人との関わりをあまり持とうとしないみたいな。
And is there anything that would convince you to want to get married? Anything you need or you feel like marriage would offer?
自分の今の生活を極力崩されないことと、自分が足りないもの、車の免許持ってるとか、そういうプラスになることがあればもしかしたら考えるかもしれない。
So from what I gather here, I guess driver's license is a status symbol in Japan. Interesting. But yeah, I mean, why would you get married if you can do whatever you want without a man and you're living fine? Know what I'm saying?
In what is still a very gendered society, more and more people aren't taking on relationships and they aren't having children. The face of Japan is changing.
Walk around the streets of Tokyo and you'll see plenty of elderly people, but not too many babies. A few years ago, it was called a national crisis. Since then, it's only got worse.
Damn. The crisis got worse.
This is an intensely private society, but I've arranged to meet with another young professional who's prepared to open up about the pressures of living in modern Japan. Under COVID restrictions, 32-year-old Naoya Kudo is working from home. He's a successful creative director at a heavy-hitting advertising firm.
Good for him.
But he also has a work ethic that's fairly new in Japan.
僕らの世代とか周りを見ると意外とあまりそういうずっとこの会社で骨をうずめるんだっていう感覚の人は少ない気がしますね。
He works hard and plays hard, and isn't embracing the responsibilities that come with marriage and family.
Before you moved in here, you had a girlfriend, but what happened shortly after? What changed?
この年になってくるとその付き合ってるそのパートナーも結婚ってどうなんだっけっていう話をする機会がこうある。じゃあ解散。
I am so weak. So he got a good job. He moved in with his girlfriend, and his girlfriend was like, "So when are we getting married?" And he kicked her out.
He recently made an
Savage.
Instagram star of his grandfather wearing his high fashion clothes.
久しぶりにおじいちゃんとこういう一緒にこうやって遊んで、じゃあおじいちゃん
Grandpa's got the swag, huh?
会う計算なんだっけって数えたら、このまま行くともうあと 2,3 回会って終わりのペースだぞっていうのに気づいたりもして。
Like many successful young people, he loves living for the moment and spending his money.
とか会社に来てったこともありますね、これで。この辺はもう肩から。
This spiky little number cost around $2,000.
Damn! They got fucking
ジバンシーのロゴ。
Gucci in Japan.
そうそうそう。
Givenchy.
休みの時は何をするのが好きですか？
お酒が大好きなので、今日ちょうどこの
I
後
get sloshed with the
明
boys.
日飲むんで、よかったら。
It's easy to live single in Tokyo. Almost anything you desire is there, day or night. But try buying a home at unreachable prices and take on the burden of a family.
Oh, so Tokyo's, or I guess Japan, is just like living in the United States, huh?
For many, it holds as much attraction as a straitjacket. Naoya's friends are also trying to find their way. Marriages used to be arranged. Now there's few guidelines for dating, and people often don't know how to do it.
Well, that's why I'm single. So I don't know, like how to make a partner.
Katsuyuki has just started a relationship that he found through social media.
Good for him.
僕は結婚がゴールで恋愛するっていうよりも、
Would you like to have children one day?
うわ、特に欲しいとも思ってないです。
Are you looking? You're interested in finding a partner?
いやもちろんもしいい人がいたらお付き合いはしたいなと思います。必ず恋人がいないといけないっていう風なことは全然思ってなくて。
Naoya does want to get married one day, but not yet.
Do you feel lonely sometimes?
でも結構ありますけどね。友達とかと意外とこう飲んだりするのが楽しいので、そこで埋められる寂しさではあるなって思っちゃいますね。
I've also noticed that people are filling their lack of having a partner with other things. which are like personal things that they find fun. Know what I'm saying? Like that other girl, she loves spending money on her dog and spending time with her dogs. She's like, I don't really need a boyfriend. Like, I've got my dogs. And this guy's like, I don't need to drink. You know, I've got my homies, and I like going out and drinking. So I feel like they're sacrificing having a partner for, you know, just having fun, which isn't a bad thing. You know, I mean, it's your life, live it how you want to. But it's just something I've noticed.
Many people are finding it hard to reconcile their sense of duty with the pressures of modern life. The stress becomes overwhelming. Suicide rates are at disturbing levels. There's few places where people can drop their guard. This hidden little cafe has become a refuge for troubled souls.
That is so cool. Hold up. Go back. I am so jealous. That was so cool. I don't know if you guys heard that. Let's turn the volume all the way up real quick. God, I am so jealous of you Japanese people and your inventions.
こんにちは、ジェイクです。この中に一番が好きですか？じゃあマリオカード。
Got a lot of Pokemon stuff, I see.
Owner Toru Hashimoto
Mario.
used to work at Nintendo.
Damn.
Now he offers a ready ear to listen to their troubles.
どうよ。
難しいですね。
何が？これ？人生？
人生かな。
Toru was bullied at school and knows what it's like to feel rejected.
いつも一人で寂しく家にいて。
そうですね。猫がいるんで。
でリモートしながら。
There's a stigma attached to mental health issues, and many of his customers are lost or uncertain.
はい、ありがとうございます。はい、じゃあ飲みますか？
何をやっても認められない人っていうのはもう何でもできるけど何もできないみたいなことになってる人はたくさんいると思うんですよね。
Do you think in that case maybe the old expectations have not necessarily caught up with the modern freedom?
Which is pretty sad, you know. Mental health, I feel like mental health issues, I feel like social media plays a big part. And if you're not living your life a certain way, then you get depressed, know what I'm saying? Like, I remember growing up in high school, like, damn, everyone's out having fun, and I'm just fucking sitting in my room doing nothing. Like, this shit sucks. And nowadays, I rarely go on social media. Like, if someone tags me in something, I'll look. But, like, I don't like using social media to look at everybody having fun. Because I learned in psychology class, I want to say freshman or sophomore year of college, that social media creates FOMO, aka the fear of missing out. And like Instagram does that a lot. Like you see a lot of people just having fun, you know, having the time of their lives. That's just a snapshot of what's really going on, you know? And that's what some people need to realize, myself especially, is that even though I'm not out having fun and partying and doing all this stuff, like, my life doesn't suck, you know? I'm very blessed to have a nice apartment, even though I'm in a shitty area. I've got a very beautiful dog that sometimes listens to me. I've got great friends, you know? I've got a nice computer setup, you know? Like, I'm very blessed in other situations. I gotta realize that I'm looking at someone's just snapshot of life, you know? And I'm not experiencing what they're experiencing behind closed doors, you know? But anyway, in terms of mental health, like, it's definitely sad that the Japanese, and not even Japanese, like, people here, like, there's a stigma with mental health. Like, I'm never going to talk to anybody about, like, my mental health, because you just don't do that, you know? And I guess it's just a stigma everywhere. You don't do that as a guy, I should say.
まあそこが変わっていかないことには、多分、まあもうちょっとだと思いますよ。あと、どれぐらいだろう。でも10年とかかな。
Hidden in the bedrooms of homes across Japan, more than 1 million people have retreated altogether. Hidehiro Shinmasu is one. His bedroom has been his universe for the best part of 20 years. He's now 40 years old. We've been allowed to visit this very private space.
こんにちは、ジェイクです。
He lives at home, supported by his parents, and has spent days mentally preparing.
My man is 40 years old. 40 years old, and he had to take days mentally preparing. That's crazy. Like, maybe that might be a bit of an issue, you know?
For our arrival.
Might want to get some
The
help.
problem of shut-ins is so acute in Japan that it has a name. Hikikomori.
新マスさん、お部屋で何をしますか？
読書をしたり、あと YouTube 見たり、パソコンで YouTube 見たり。
はい。
これはファッション系 YouTuber の源氏さんっていう洋服のトレンドとかを解説する人です。
じゃあ見せて。
はい。
Hidehiro spends most of his day touching the world through this screen.
結構私人と関わるのが好きなので、そういう意味でいろんなインターネットを通して今対人関係コミュニケーションができるので。
Which is depressing, but like everybody copes with things differently, you know? Like, I remember I watched a video on White Boy 7th Street when I want to say his dad died. He started playing a bunch of video games and his mom passed away shortly after. He just got really into video games and really good at video games, and that was how he coped. And look at where he's at now. Like, he's rich, he's popular, everybody knows who White Boy 7th Street is. And everybody just copes differently. Like, when my mom passed away, I shut myself in. I played a shit ton of Overwatch, which most people would say, damn, that's an awful way of dealing with with something, you know what I'm saying? Which isn't wrong, but I guess it was the game that just occupied my attention and it kept the bad thoughts away. So everybody deals with things differently. Though it is pretty sad that he shuts himself in and he just watches YouTube and he's content with enjoying his life.
非常に家にいながら誰かとつながる。
His downward spiral began when he couldn't live up to his family's and society's expectations.
私は小学校中学校ともあんまり運動ができなかったりスポーツもできなかったり、勉強もできなかったので、あんまり自信がないっていうか人の顔色を伺うっていうかそういう自己肯定感が低い子供でした。自分が社会に合わない、自分が悪いとか自分自身が劣っていると思ってたので。
He felt he'd brought shame on his.
Honestly, this guy sounds just like me. Like, I was not very athletic, even though I played football in college. It was at a community college, so it's nothing special. Like, I feel like I'm the ugly one of my friends group. I don't have a particular good personality. I don't like hanging out with a whole lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So I can feel his pain, you know? Like, he feels like a shut-in or a failure. And that's just how he deals with it. So, like, I definitely feel that. Like, when I compare myself to my friends, I'm like, I need to find something that makes me successful or find something I excel at. Like, even with guitar, I am not a good guitarist at all. And I wish I was just good at something that I was just better at everybody else at. And it depresses. Like, I get depressed sometimes. It's like, I'm not particularly good at anything. Like, I'm not really handsome. My voice is weird. You know, I have a weird personality. Like, I'm an acquired taste in all forms of, you know, me being me. And it depresses me sometimes, you know? So I can feel how he feels sometimes. I can relate.
His family. He was different in a culture that values conformity.
同調圧力が強かったり、同質性が強かったりして、人と違った行動を取る人だったり、人と違う生き方に対してあまり寛容ではないので。
Were you able to go out? What was daily life like?
絶望感っていうか、何にもできなかったので、それまでは頑張れたんですけど、同じように頑張ろうと思って頑張れなくなったので、その卒業のする見込みも立たない。その時が一番絶望感というか、もう死ぬことを考えて。
Poor guy.
He wants to feel accepted.
Are you comfortable with this life?
やっぱりもう今40歳なので、そういった意味でなんか
Speaking of which, he looks really good for a 40-year-old.
あんまり社会に合わないからいいんだっていうことではなくて、やっぱある程度社会が実際にもうちょっと歩み寄ってもらって、その引きこもり状態である方でもだから僕でも働けるようなメニューを増やしてもらいたいっていうのが一番の願いで、今の活動もそういうような活動をしています。
The call for society to be more inclusive is going out nationwide from a little city called Kitakami.
で、学校に苦しむっていうことが一番問題だなと思っているので、家でゆっくり自分の問題と子供の問題は全然別の問題ですので。
Seiko Goto has helped raise the alarm about hikikomori. She gives advice to those who are suffering.
Honestly, like, to a point, like, if I didn't have my dog, I'd probably be a shut-in. Like, I don't like doing anything that involves people. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I'll go work out in the morning, I'll walk my dog. I'm fairly active. Like, I'm not fat. You guys see me walk back and forth to my bathroom all the time. So, like, I'm not overweight. And I eat a lot. So, I'm not overweight, but, like, I just find it more... Life is easier when I don't have to talk to people, you know? And I'm just in my own little room, in my own little space. I mean, my dog, he's super social. So I guess it's a good thing that I have a dog that I can just go out and walk and experience the world, because if not, you know, I'd be a shut-in.
まずは
Maybe he needs a dog, you know, like me.
いつも私が言っているように、親が幸せになること、自分の気持ちを落ち着かせて整えるっていうことが先じゃないかな。
She's been through the ordeal herself. It took years for her to accept that her son, Masato, would barely leave his room. He was a hikikomori.
私はですね、本当に勉強させたい、いい高校に行かせたい、そしていい会社に勤めさせたいっていうことで、本当にね、もう朝から晩まで勉強しろっていうことで、ひどい。
And no wonder, like, no wonder he, like, rejected that. Like, who wants to do that? Just study and study and study and study. I mean, I get, from what little I know about Japanese culture, like, if you're not really good in school, then sometimes you have a bit of trouble fitting in, which is a struggle for people like myself. Like, even though I did go to college, I wasn't I wouldn't say, like, I wasn't smart. I just didn't try, you know, and that was my main issue. So, like, I can feel his pain. Like, that doesn't sound like a fun time.
お母さんだったと思います。
As she struggled, she had some very dark thoughts.
息子を殺して自分も死んだ方がいいんじゃないか。こんな子供を自分が育ててしまった。世の中の役に立たない人間を育ててしまったっていう。
That's cold, man. I guess that's just how people think sometimes, you know? Like, she's like, fuck, I'm a failure, my son's a failure, we don't belong in this world. Which is, it's pretty sad.
で、それくらいやっぱり思い詰めてましたね。
Things improved when she realized it was her problem and she was the one who had to change.
引きこもってる人たちを変えて元気にさせて仕事に就かせて税金を納めさせたいって日本の国民は思ってると思うんですけど、私は全くその逆で、社会の側こそが変わってみんなが生きやすい。
Masato is uncomfortable speaking, but agreed to explain his experience.
個性を消されていくっていうか、すごい扱いやすい人間にされていく感じが嫌でした。
Seiko's been heard in Tokyo. The government has invited her to help fix the hikikomori problem.
Damn, it's so bad that the government has to get involved.
引きこもりという状態が、特別なことではなくて、本当に引きこもっていようが引きこもってなかろうがみんな同じ人間なので、一人一人違っているよっていうだけのことだっていうことを一番伝えたいですね。
But getting these government health officials to understand isn't easy. Just speaking at the meeting is a little overwhelming.
本当にただのおばちゃんなんですけれども、長年ですね、自分の息子のことで、なんか今ね、こういういろんな活動をしていって、ごめんなさい、なんかこういうところでお話しさせていただいている機会があるなんて、本当に指にも思わなかったので。
Government efforts to stem negative social trends have so far been ineffective.
I mean, it takes a while to change. Like, I know a lot of old heads here just don't accept change, and they don't like the way the generation is now, you know? So, I mean, change is not something you can just do overnight. It takes a while, so you just gotta keep at it. Which is easier said than done, obviously.
For centuries, the spirit of harmony bound society together. People buried their own needs for the greater good of the family and community. But loneliness pervades this populous nation of 125 million. Traditional family bonds were strained with post-war modernisation. As the high-speed economy took off, mass housing estates were built for Western-style nuclear families, and the traditional multi-generational ties were broken.
That's beautiful, by the way.
Now, the Danchi apartments are home to thousands of lonely, disconnected people. More than
Pretty
one-third
but
of
cats are
Japanese
disgusting.
homes are single households. By the end of the decade, tens of millions of people will be living on their own. Many are left to die alone, like the 64-year-old man who lived here. The police have removed the body, but Masatomi Yoko has come to clean up the mess. He wants the solitary dead to be paid due respect.
It's in terrible condition. You know, that's one thing I think about more often than I should. Whenever I go into like a new apartment, I'm like, how many people died here before I got here? That's maybe I'm just weird, but I think about that a little more than I feel like the average person does.
The man who died had been an electrical engineer, unable to work after he had an accident.
やっぱり何らかの疾患を持っている方が多い。お薬がいっぱいある。でおそらくね見ての通りもう普通に生活することがもうできないっていうことなんですね。でも食べて飲むしかしない、来たものはスポンって捨てちゃう。でおそらくこれはもう最後はもう失禁とかトイレも行けなくなっている状態で衰弱しているというそういう状態で。
Poor guy.
でもねこの家の隣普通に日常で、ね、そこをポンと開けたら日常があってもうここだけが。
That's also very depressing. It's like, yeah, I mean, who knows what your neighbor is dealing with? You know, someone you walk by every day, who knows what kind of trauma or things they are struggling with. He made a great point. You know, next door, life goes on.
もう非日常になってこのねこれがなかなか外に伝わらないっていうのが僕の言っているコミュニティの崩壊かなというところです。なんかそんな逼迫した感じもないんですけど、でももうしんどかったんでしょうね。ね、本当に。
じゃがいも。
はい。
Potatoes。
だから何か料理をしようとしてたと。はい。ね、これカレーを作ろうとしてるんです。ジャワカレー。カレーソース。カレー。助けてくれって言ってるんですよ、部屋が。部屋が助けてくれって言ってるんで、まあそれにやっぱりこう。
It sucks when you're all alone, you know.
On average, Masatomi does 3 or 4 of these cleans a week.
A week?
Every one has an impact.
Golly.
やっぱり辛くなるんで、結構そのもう精神的にまあ結構。
I mean, I guess when there's 125 million people in Tokyo, or maybe not Tokyo, just in Japan, like I could see why, you know, 3 or 4 a week, that's not too bad when you counter in how many people are there.
辛いっていうか。つながりが全くなくなってないとか発見が遅れるとかこれはやっぱりつながりを大事にしてきた僕ら日本人が僕はやってはいけないんじゃないかなと。
The man had been dead for 2 weeks.
Damn.
Before his daughter opened the door and made a grisly discovery.
なんかこう亡くなった時ってこう刺繍がするっていうじゃないですか。なんかそうではなくてこうおしっこの匂いとか排泄物アンモニアの匂いが一発目にバーンってきてってなってたんで、あちょっともうダメかもしれないってもう瞬間に思って、でもそれ以上はなんかこう父の最後の姿がその印象になっちゃってるので、もうそれ以上はこう見たくないなって思ってしまって。
Why do you think so many people, so many elderly people, are dying like this?
地域とのやっぱつながりも薄かったり、孤立するのがとても増えてきたと思っています。
That's rough because like there's a lot of shut-ins, so they don't have any connection to the community, so they're gonna die just like this guy, and that's really depressing, you know. Like what a terrible life to live, you know. Just makes me sad just thinking about people that are just shut in and they want to be free but they can't.
私は本当は毎日おはようでもお休みでもいいからちょっと連絡してほしいってお願いはしてたんですけど、まあなかなかそういうことを聞いてくれない父だったので。
Anything the families don't want comes here, where it's cleaned and sold. It's about all that's left to mark their existence. There are no official statistics, but Masatomi reckons it adds up to around 40,000 people who die alone each year.
Damn.
The underlying problem it reveals still haunts him.
誰にでも起こりうることだなと、それはもう自分も含めてですけど、でやっぱりつながりを持ってないといけないなと、すごく感じます。またなんで気づかないんだと、そういう憤りを感じます。
I guess the moral of the story is go out and make friends, you know, go out even though if it pushes you out of your comfort zone, like make friends, have people that care enough about you to check up on you, you know? Like even if I don't talk to my roommates every once in a while, I'll get a text message, hey, haven't seen you in a bit, like everything all good? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm very blessed to have good roommates, so not even, I shouldn't classify them as roommates, just good friends, you know? So we definitely, I know it's hard and it's easy for me to say, but you know, go make some friends.
Sayaka's heading to see her family for the first time in more than 3 years, and I've been invited to meet them. Okinawa is about as far away from Tokyo as you can get, where the bonds of...
I have a friend who's from Okinawa. I guess military presence from the United States is really strong over there, and that's where he's from.
Family are still tight, and traditional rules go pretty much unquestioned.
こんばんは。ジェイクです。
The last time the family came together was for Grandpa.
What the hell is that dog wearing? That poor dog.
Shigeru's 73rd birthday.
In the center. It's
A beautiful family.
Big family. Like sister.
Sayaka's sisters are married with children but didn't come tonight. Her aunties married young and live close by.
可愛くなった。可愛くなった。太った嘘太った
It is not very nice. Reminds me of my grandma. May she rest in peace. But it's just unfiltered. Just being mean. Even though she didn't feel like it was mean, it was just mean.
How nice is it to see Sayaka-san?
嬉しいですよ。孫だよ。 子供孫なのに嬉しいじゃん。何も言わないけど心の内では楽しいなっていう感じ。
What do you think about the dogs?
No.
Sayaka-san tells us she's happily single and not interested in marriage or kids. What do you think about that?
バカだと思う。
Grandpa Shigeru doesn't.
But he's also an old head, you know? So, like, he's like, you need to get married and have kids, you know? So, that's just his opinion because that's how he grew up. And times have changed.
Mince words. And he's in his element with his big family around him.
なるのが一番でしょ。こっちはもういなくなってるでしょ。孤独死するでしょ。今はもう何時でもそうでしょ。家族がいたけど一人になっちゃったって人をテレビ新聞でやるさ。ああいうになりたくない。
Neither do I.
Sayaka's aunties hope that one day she'll bring human children back to visit. But for now, they indulge these
That's
kids.
funny. Need some
It's
human children.
Kogemaru's birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. あ、すごい。
なんか
ネグごちそうってとかなんかしないの？ネグ。
わかりません。
食べる？オッケー。レジに合わせて。いい匂いするよって思ったらこっちだ。
別に自分個人側はダメだなと思うけど、まあ今のもう世の中のニーズがあるからこれもしようないんじゃないかにって思ってるだけ。人口が減ってきてるでしょ。少子化でこれダメやんばよ。国を滅ぶよ。
I mean, obviously the country's not going to perish, but eventually it will get to the point where the government's going to have to step in and change some things, which is where I feel like a lot of places are headed.
This spiritual land is facing a social crisis. Globalization and consumerism have brought prosperity and new freedoms, but they weigh heavily on an ancient, complex culture that's resisting change. The Discord leaves many of its people struggling and unable to find a harmonious path in the modern world.
That was a great documentary. It's really depressing seeing that guy. Well, we didn't see him, but that guy who died alone, you know, and the worker was like, you need friends, like you need people to check up on you. And at the same time, it's hard for, there's so many shut-ins. I forgot how to say it in Japanese, but the shut-ins that just live their life in their room, they're gonna end up just like that guy, you know. And honestly, seeing this made me want to just go hang out with my friends. Obviously, I'm not doing that today. We're streaming, but like I do need to go out and be with my friends more. And even if I was a shut-in, I've got good friends that text me every couple of days, you know, and just check up on me. So I'm very blessed in that regard. So even though I don't have to go out and do stuff, I have people that'll check up on me. And even though it's not always the same with everyone and everyone's situations, I am very blessed to have that. And I need to realize that other people don't have that and live my life accordingly, you know. And if you guys have that, then you guys are blessed. And for people that don't have that, you know, just hit me up, shoot me a message. I'm literally always online. I work from home. When I'm not walking my dog, I am on my computer. So if you need a friend or you just need someone to talk to, right here.